Hi, so I'm Dhruv from 18884 Pr0Teens, and I'm one of our mechanics. And this is our video one of the Pr0Teens Precision CAD series. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about pocketing. So I'm first going to go through some brief slides to explain pocketing. So first of all, what is pocketing? This is when you usually cut pockets, aka regions, out of parts, which are usually metal CNC plates, but can be 3D prints or Lexan prints. But you don't traditionally pocket 3D prints or Lexan prints because it's just only useful for aesthetics. To decrease weight and increase structural stability, it actually does basically the exact opposite for 3D prints and for Lexan parts. So don't do that if you can, but if you really want to increase the aesthetics, feel free to go ahead as long as your part is well supported. Okay, so I'm going to go through some tips. So keep wall thickness, which describes the distance between the pockets, which is right here, and the distance between each of the pockets to be a decently high amount. So in the pocketing you see right here, these distances are not equal, but if you can see right here, you can see that this distance and this distance tends to be around equal. The distance between pockets and the wall thickness will tend to be around equal. The reason why it is not equal in here is, as I will show later, I did offset it. So there's an 8 mm offset from where the regions are actually pocketed, like from the outside. So that's why this region is much thicker than this region. But in general, this region and this region need to be a good amount, at least I'd say 8 plus millimeters, because you want your pockets to be structurally stable. Especially like FTC decode, there's a lot of robots shoving into each other, like because they're shooting and then someone's blocking the spawn, they shove them out of the way or something else. So having strong plates is really important. This will ensure you have good structural stability. Also ensure you have enough materials surrounding holes. So this is what I'm showing right here. So you can see, like, I will explain how pocketing is done later, but basically the tool I use to do this is adding extra material around the hole so that it is well supported, just in case it expands, because I decide to drill the hole, there's a load on the hole, and the load over time wears down the hole and the hole gets bigger, or you just want more structural stability. So in general, make sure you have a good amount of material. My rule of thumb is I'd add, for 3D prints I'd add around 2 millimeters from 4 millimeters from the center of the hole to the outside. But in pocketing, as long as you're not manually pocketing, the tool I'll show you later will take this in account, so you don't have to worry about it. But if you are manually pocketing, I'd say at least have 4 millimeters from the center to the outside, at least. And finally, this is a technical aspect. Fillet have to be bigger than the drill bit diameter. So just think about this. So let's just say your drill bit diameter is 1/2 inch, and use a fillet that's less than 1/4 of an inch. Since fillets are measured in radius, I mean 1/4 of an inch radius, it's obviously not going to be possible, because how does a bit that's of a specific radius drill a fillet that's smaller than it, right? It can't do that, because that's how big the drill bit is. So your fillets have to be bigger than the drill bit diameter, which in most cases you don't have to worry about, but don't use really small fillets is the point. Try to keep your fillets decently big, don't make them really small. So now I'm going to explain how you actually pocket, and this is going to be in odd shape. I will not show you how to manually pocket. If you want to do that, there is a good tutorial on the FTC Discord that you can ask someone to send to you that will guide you through this process, but today I'm just going to show you how to do it using on shape. So how do you do this using on shape? So in on shape, there's a feature script which I call vent. So this is just an example of a pocketed plate I made, which I'll be showing you how I made at the end of the video. And how you get vent is actually really simple. So go into any part studio in any document in Onshape, doesn't matter which one. So open it up, and when you're in there, go all the way to the right, click on this arrow and hit add custom features. And then what you want to search for is feature script, vent, alright. And I don't know why they named it feature script vent, and it was kind of obvious, but whatever. Just hit right here, and then you would just hit this. I'm not gonna hit it. I guess I can hit it and show you. Just hit this. Now in my case, it removed it because I already had it, but it'll say this when you add it. There are updates to the vent feature script, so if you see this right here, if you see this year version logo over vent, which I think you can see right here, just make sure you update it. You can just do that by re-adding, just like removing it and re-adding it, just in case you see that sign to update it. So yeah, anyway, now I'll show you how do you actually use this feature script. So this is just a plate I have that of my shooter. I won't be walking you through pocketing this because it does take me quite a while, but I'm just going to show you how I did it. So basically what you first want to do is offset the outside edges of your plate to the inside and have an amount of gap between it, which is what I was saying before. The thickness was extra because I had extra offsetted it along with vent offsetting it, which added up to a good amount. So make sure you offset it from the outside to the inside, because one, this allows you to have guides when you're making your actual design. You can use midpoints, and like it gives you guides so that when you're drawing out your lines, it can help you. And number two, it adds a good offset, increasing the structural stability of your plates, giving more support to your outside edges. So this is a good thing to do. Then what you do, if you don't have to, pocketing is mainly aesthetic preferences, but maintaining a couple of tips that I mentioned before is kind of integral, so make sure you do that. Then what you want to do, as I was saying before, is just divide the plate into triangular regions. Some people do hexagonal regions, some people do triangular regions. I don't know, whichever one you believe suits you the best. Vent doesn't necessarily only do triangular regions, so you can see some of the regions on my sketch are irregular. I would not recommend it if you can avoid it, but in my case I wasn't able to get these regions situated. So try to get as much regions as possible. Then try to keep your regions as equal as possible in size. As you can see, like these regions are pretty equal in size, right? I try to keep my regions as equal in size as I can. Like some of these regions could be made bigger, but try to keep them as equal in size as you can. Don't, like, for more sensitive parts of your plate, maybe don't pocket it. Like you can see right here, I didn't pocket this on the actual thing. I just drew a line here so that I didn't select this region, and you'll see what I mean by selecting the region later. So overall, just divide it into triangular regions or regions in any shape that you believe would be the most stable. And then after you divide it into regions, divide the entire plate or just parts of the plate into regions. It will take you a decent bit of time, so take some time and do it. Then what you do is, using vent, you select each face. So I selected each face here, and then the factors that I mentioned before come in mind. So thickness of walls, make sure it's at least 8 millimeters, and tool radius, again, if you have your own CNC at your shop or you have control over what tool bit radius you're using on your CNC, make sure you keep this in mind and use a radius that's meeting the criteria that I mentioned. Cut depth is just how much through it goes through the plate. So for some reason you wanted a partial pocket, like I've not seen anybody do that, or understand why you would want to do that. But if you don't want your pocketing to stem throughout the entire plate and just partially, you can do that. If anybody knows why, please tell me in the comments. And then when it takes care of the manual side for you, so if you used Fusion before and you went to Onshape or something else, you probably know that pocketing without the feature script would involve like drawing all of these features out, the pocketing features out. With Vent, you don't have to do this. You just select the regions and Vent does the calculations and the math and draws the region out for you. So just select those regions and then you'll be pocketed and you're fine. And then you can do whatever you desire with this. Some other tips I would recommend is, as you can see here, fillet your outside edges. I don't know what happened here, but fillet the outside edges. As you can see right here, I've done that. Make sure your edges are filleted because it increases aesthetics and structural stability. And also, if you have ever touched sharp metal edges, aka couple the channels, you all know how sharp that can be, and it's not exactly safe. So try to keep your regions fillet. I guess that's about it for teaching us how to pocket. So overall, I guess things you should remember about pocketing is always make sure your wall thickness is high enough so that your plate is structurally stable. Your offset for holes is high. Make sure you check your drill diameter, if you have in control what drill bit you're using on your CNC, to make sure it's higher than so that your radius is higher than or equal to the radius of the drill bit, your fillet radius. And in general, try to keep your pockets as equal as possible. And in cases of which you divide your blade into regions and your pocketing is, it's hard to pocket some regions because the end result looks really small and it results in small pockets that are really small. You don't want that, and it will result in irregular regions if combined. Just combine those regions. I guess that's about it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ping me, ping my team on Discord. We have a community server you can join. You can ask us questions. So thank you.